안녕하세요. My name is Georg Schmidt. I'm the German ambassador to the Republic of Korea. Since then, we already had 2 visits by parliamentary state secretaries in Korea dealing with the cooperation in science and technology, biotechnology, life sciences. The second visit was about technical high-tech cooperation, semiconductors and others. But if you look at it, you mentioned also climate. And climate is very important. We go forward. We had a large hydrogen conference in Korea with more than 200 participants. So we look at how can Germany and Korea exchange experiences in research and technology, but also in application, and what are the potential benefits for our societies if we go forward with an energy transition. So the climate, we have a bilateral energy partnership, Germany and Korea. And this is important because the transition to or decarbonization was actually decided in COP28. And it's a huge challenge for all the economies. How do we get there while at the same time also maintaining our competitiveness? I can understand that none of our country's leaders and none of our business leaders want to lose their business. They all want to go that way, but we have to balance it. And that's why it's important to have an understanding, technological, but also the rules. How do we get there? It should be a level playing field for all. How do we get to this green transition? Many people associate Germany only with the big brand names, the BMWs or this. But the real strength of the German economy is, and our backbone is what we call the Mittelstand, is the small and medium enterprises. And many of them are not well known because you can't buy their goods as a consumer, but you will find their products behind everything, or their technology is a very important part of the value chain. And to exchange and to see like how can we balance this, what can we do between Mittelstand in Germany and also SMEs in Korea. How do we, for instance, foster startups? We had delegations also here to look at our respective policies. Because if you have a wonderful idea, it sounds good, but you have to have somebody who takes the risk and finances that and goes forward. And here Korea and Germany can actually learn a lot from each other. Also, we have a very strong cooperation people to people. Whenever diplomats talk about 2 countries getting together, at the end of the day, it's people getting together. And it's very good. There are lots of young Germans who are also interested by Korean culture and who study Korean, and there will be more of that. And we have such a strong cultural cooperation, but we would like to see more of that, and maybe also to go beyond the traditional cultural fields and paths. For instance, classical music is a well-established field. We have all the orchestras going. But what about other things like esports, for instance? We commemorated that because it started in 1963. So last year we commemorated that. And if you imagine back in 1963, it was a very different time. You didn't have WhatsApp or the internet. So once you were gone, you were really gone. So I salute the courage, the energy and the determination of the Korean miners and nurses who went to a country that was far, far away, who worked in a society that was very foreign to them, who learned the language, who mastered, who sent money back home to support the families and the rebuilding of the countries, but also supported our rebuilding after the war. And now if you look the next generation, some of them decided to go back to Korea, but some of them decided to make Germany its home. And this is a connection between us. And I think there's a very positive story. We are proud of them because we treat them as part of German society. Korea is proud of them. And I think this is where a diverse society can actually go to. It's an enrichment, diversity where people know they don't only belong to one country. I don't like the word, oh, you're half this, half that. I would much rather say you're double, because you can have access to Korean culture and to German culture. Right. If I look at it, both of our countries face the challenge to rebuild after a war situation. And people talk about the miracle on the Rhine River and also the miracle on the Han River. And Korea has achieved an enormous success in rebuilding the country and in creating wealth and prosperity. The Korea of today is the 10th largest economy of the world, and it's a huge contrast, and I think people admire that. I think now what is a challenge for our societies is how do we balance this growth And how do we make sure that as many people as possible have a chance to participate in the fruit of that growth? It's one thing, so it would be a question of society. And the other is, how do we balance this growth with also the environment? And to make sure that we don't plunder the Earth's resources or do something which will make life very, very difficult for the next generation. So maybe what we need is a second kind of miracle on the Rhine and on the Han rivers. I think if Germany and Korea can show a way forward as highly industrialized countries, then it could inspire other countries to follow.